Well, while we've got you here, I'd like to also ask you about two of your party's councillors in Stirling who've been reinstated now after posting some pretty offensive stuff on Twitter. What is your view of them being allowed back into the party?
All political parties have issues with people who've been candidates or even those who've been elected saying unacceptable things on social media. In this case, these individuals had said things on social media sometime in the past, long before they were candidates for election. They were immediately suspended by the party when these incidents came to light. They've made very full apologies for them. They've been told that such language is totally unacceptable.
But suspended on what grounds?
Not to do it again. Well, because the language they've used has been totally unacceptable and offensive. Now, where people have done these things in the past,
do you then say, actually, it's okay, you can be a party member again?
Well, where people have done these things historically, they've done them in the past long before they were elected, and they've come forward and they've given apologies, they've served a period of suspension. I think at one point or another you've got to say, have you served your time? Is it right you come back in if you can demonstrate your behaviour is going to improve? And it's worth making the point, this happens in all political parties.
Your leader, Ruth Davidson, tweeted a little earlier this month after the violence in Virginia in the States, said the President of the United States has just turned his face to the world to defend Nazis, fascists and racists. For shame, she said. Is that not hypocritical when two of her own councillors had likened Scottish nationalists to Nazis and used some pretty racist language in some of those tweets as well, talking about black people boarding a plane, spears going into the overhead locker, that sort of thing? I mean, on what grounds would that even be considered acceptable?
Well, it's not considered acceptable, which is precisely why the party took action against these individuals. They were punished for their actions. They've apologised for their actions, and at least the Conservative Party is prepared to take action.
But how do you know they've changed their attitude? That's not something they still, think is acceptable?
Well, they've been very clear. They made very fulsome apologies. They made very fulsome apologies for what they did. Such language is totally unacceptable, which is why the party acted so swiftly to deal with the problem. I just wish other parties would act as swiftly as the Scottish Conservative Party did.
Murdo Fraser, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.